Hello and welcome to the stream. This is part 19 of our ongoing Might and Magic journey. And if anything, my voice has gotten worse in the last day, so I apologize. I have a bit of a cold, so I'll try not to cough directly into the mic. Hello, Gleeser, welcome to the stream. And my only regular viewer, all the way from Germany. Yeah, we made some decent progress last night, and we spent most of last night just mapping out the outside areas that are still left in the game. And there are still quite a few left, and in the stream before that we made some serious progress. We finally completed the cleric's class quest and the sorcerer's class quest, so we've now completed all of them and have leveled pretty much every character up to 22. So we made significant progress in some previous streams, but right now we spent most of last night just mostly mapping some of these outside areas, and we really didn't make much progress. While we're mostly doing mapping, I've dismissed Big Boutte, the hireling cleric, because he's become very expensive. Sir Hiron is still at some 8,000 or so, but Big Boutte was at 35 or 40,000 per day. So when we were resting many times a day without finding any treasure, we were mostly hemorrhaging money. So next on the agenda of things to map is D4, so I think we'll just get to it. And as before, I will do a north and south walk. I won't do an east and west as well. And, I'll trust that we find most things by doing a north and south. If we see an obvious place where coming from the west or north would make a difference, I will visit that again. We've also been scribbling down the yellow messages. Last night on stream we solved the green message, or at least the parts of it that we needed to see what it was about. It was about the juror quest, and we don't have the key yet to solve the yellow message, but I'm writing them down one at a time, so at the point where we get to it, we can start deciphering them. They are the green one was interesting. We needed to overlay on a per character basis, one character at a time, from message 2, 1, 3, and 4. So we had to take care of every space and every comma in the message. So it took me a while just to figure out what was the best way to do it, because it wasn't easily readable in any way. Now these guardians are protecting some sword. It might be one of the swords that the lord in Castle Woodhaven was after. Check that out slightly later, see what we find here, if we manage to bring these guys down. They are obviously difficult. Now one happy event which happened is that in the dungeon of Atlantium we found a way to increase our intellect by some 10 points, which gained William Tell the Archer a lot of spell points. He was always fairly low, but now he's up to some 128, which is a decent amount. And we found another of these swords. We now have two of them. We have the Valor Sword and the Honor Sword. So now only one of them is missing, and I remember that was the last quest in, I think it was Castle Woodhaven, where the final quest was finding these swords. There were actually 4 different quests. One of them was finding something totally normal like a dagger, and you could bring it, buy one at a blacksmith and bring it, and you got something like 80 experience points, or I don't remember. It was a very low number. And the second one was some sort of electric axe. I assume the final one at least gives us a decent amount of experience, so it might be worth it. Now, in these quick mines here, there are all of these acid-based monsters. I assume we will be fighting quite a few of them. Here is yellow message number 4. We're slowly getting all of them here. I complained about it multiple times on the stream last night, and I will continue to do so, that it's very difficult to decipher sometimes whether there is 1 or 2 spaces between the letters. So this is a proportional font, so it's sometimes extremely difficult to realize whether it's a single or a double space, which makes deciphering the message that much more difficult when you get to it. We will use the sandstorm spell here to take down the sludge beasts. They are mostly a matter of just taking them down before they cause any major damage to us. Quite a few of them here. We gain basically nothing by fighting them, it's just a matter of finishing the mapping. A lightning bug here. It's fairly pesky. Oh, here is something called the Farm of Fear. It's in D4 X9 Y11. We'll leave it for now, but we'll come back here and take a look at exactly what it is. The only thing we really found in all the mapping last night was something called the what was it called again? Trying to find what it was called here in the document. It was called a nomadic cavern, and it was fairly tame. Mostly contained some thief-like monsters, and we didn't really find much, but there were some hints. crawled around the various walls and messages, so we were able to find some hints about various things, so that was useful. Of course, we need to finish all of this anyway. Don't think we really need to worry very much about the monsters in this particular area. They are fairly easy for us right now. We need to map this anyway. Here are a couple of these swamp things. Slightly more difficult. At least we got some treasure this time around, and some more of these sludge beasts here. We are slowly running out of spell points. Cast protection on the elements. Still have some 11 of them left or so. Magicka still has quite a few left, so rest here. Outcast leopards sit around large tables playing various games. A sign reads leprechaun. Yes, why not? So there are 100 lepers and 1 leprechaun. I will take him out first because I really don't like the way that they steal our gold. I would very much like to be rid of him. Before he steals something, I'm not worried about the lepers. I will take them down using magic. They don't mostly run away anyway. Yeah, we discovered the dancing sword spell. It is very useful. And of course, now that we've reached basically level 22, we have the maximum spell level for all the magical casters. And we also found the last night while mapping some stuff, we found the earth encasement spell and we found the earth transmutation spell. We are slowly gaining all of the spells as we walk around and finish these dungeons. We also fought a lord here yesterday, that the lynch lord, and we got quite a bit of experience for doing so. We'll see for now. Pleaser, let's continue on this path here, finish this mapping and finish this dungeon. Now we are slowly getting ahead in the game, and we also found the secret about the, or parts of the mystery about the circus last night. We found the pool of radiance, and I had actually already found the pool of radiance, but And we had drank from it before, and it was basically acid. And might have actually been the last time I played the game that I found a pool, because I was going through the watch last night and I couldn't see it anywhere. But I did find them in any case, and I remembered roughly where it was, and we basically walked all the way up to it last night. And but the circus wasn't there, so we have to wait for the circus to be in place. There is some mystery there that we haven't solved, and another mystery that we haven't solved is we found some character in one of the maps that was interested in talking about some expert in food. So I made some attempts. I went to the tavern, and I had the characters eat some of the meals, and I went back, and that didn't help. So I'm not sure what it is that we need to achieve to be able to talk to him. But there's obviously some sort of side quest there, and generally in the game these quests are very valuable, so maybe we'll get lucky and find some hint as to how to solve some of them. There's a lot of fighting here, and not a lot to show for it. These are fairly difficult, and we get nothing for killing them off. Now here are some mountain men for our pleasure. The dancing sword spell is basically one of the more convenient spells in the game, it must be said. That and the holy word spell, which was an absolute lifesaver when we finally finished the clerical class quest. Now the holy word spell is basically the only way to solve that. Some more of these lightning bugs here. Quite a few of them, actually. And more. A sign above a dark hole reads Dawn's Cavern, keep out. Okay, so this is Dawn's Bog Cavern. We've heard about it multiple times before. And we at least know for a fact that the barbarian fight takes place in the Dawn's Bog Cavern. We might have some fun with that. Depends on how we're doing. We could easily take the barbarian hireling as well as a thief on a little trip to finish that off, but there's probably little point to it for us at this point in the game. We are unlikely to use the barbarian for anything. We also, one of the rewards last night was that we found a wizard who is a top level sorcerer, level 21. Is simply waiting for us in Tundra, and he's quite powerful and also has significant skill level and a high number of hit points. So if we need another sorcerer, we definitely have. Yeah, Mr. Wizard, yes, we definitely have access to him now. So that's potentially useful. I could have potentially used him. One thing I was thinking of doing was visiting the castles in the Isle of the Ancients and finishing off all the fights there. because we solved the puzzles basically, so we didn't have to have the fights. So there are multiple fights that we didn't have there. That's one thing that we could potentially do. It wouldn't take us very long to do so, and it would probably be good experience for the sorcerer. This is an interesting combination. There are 2 cavaliers, some vampires and some foot soldiers. Yeah, it's surprising how much of this you actually remember. It's kind of amazing. And often you don't remember it immediately, but after just a little while you remember it. Vampire is gone, and just the foot soldiers remain here. Now this is good. An accuracy gauntlet. That's potentially very useful. It is the here it is. I'll look it up here. Okay, it increases accuracy by some 6. We already have one of these for the archer, but perhaps worth keeping around. It's definitely worth something in any case. Don't think there is any point at this stage in the game to rest after every battle. It's simply wasting money on the hirelings by doing so. But it can end up in we can end up in some trouble. We can find ourselves in a fight with hardly any spell points, which is probably a bad idea. We are almost done mapping this entire area here. And there are basically 2 interesting squares here. This is probably the final battle here with this ooze warrior. He seems less than happy to see us. We will kill him off. And this has been typical in this mire. We get absolutely nothing for doing so. Okay, this area is mapped. We will go back to run back over to Zanzibar and sell off some of our stuff here, which is not a lot. It's basically this accuracy gauntlet here. We might as well give to the archer. I forget what he has right now. He has this exacto spear, and this obviously is not a weapon. So the thing about the exacto spear is that it's both a weapon and which we need, but rarely actually use. But we still need to have a melee weapon as well as a ranged weapon. It also gives you increased accuracy, so it's a good use of the slot. I'll run down to the tavern here and pick up some food. And I'll sign into the inn, and then we'll go. And in this order, we will visit this Farm of Fear first. See what that's about, and then we'll visit Dawn's Bog Cavern. Farm of Fear was in X9, Y11. It's essentially here. Okay. It's not an actual place. It's I do apologize, I have this cold. Yeah, there is basically, that is hey, your mom, welcome to the stream. There's a godlike weapon for every class, and there is also a godlike armor for every class, as I remember. So you do eventually find a really excellent weapon that fits every class. Now, there are quite a few of these flaming fears here, and they are quite difficult. So in this fairly crazy number, they are definitely worthwhile. Oh, they will definitely cause a lot of damage here. I'm hoping that they don't all get a turn, because then we're basically dead. One member that we lost now. We found the area in B2 where you can jump directly to all of the dungeon levels. That was interesting. This is crazy difficult. We'll try this one again. Let's go back and cast the protection from element spell before we go into this battle. So at least we have shortcuts to go to every dungeon now in the castles directly. And let's see. Where was this again? In X9, Y11. Here, essentially. So essentially I'm going to use the flaming sword here. I'm going to cast the power shield here, and then I'm going to cast the protection from elements spell here, and hoping that this gives us a little bit of protection so that we can at least survive this. Now we have 62, that's not enough. We can cast the Sunstorm spell to mute quite a few, and we can cast it again here. And we've at least weakened them now. Potentially we can take some of them down using this method as well. Our main goal here is that no one dies. So we can keep this fight going. Okay, we're basically out of spell points at this point. We could cast a lightning bolt. Can't even cast a lightning bolt. I'll shoot him instead then. We have one dancing sword left here. We're doing okay. There are only 6 of them left, so fairly sure that it's very doubtful that we can cast any sort of fire spell on them. That will definitely not work. So there are 5 of them left here. A power shield really is an incredibly powerful spell. It really is. And it has saved our ass multiple times already in the game. There's only 1 of them left. They're going down. We received 20,000 experience points. And we found basically nothing except a bunch of gems. At least we've completed this barrel here. That leaves the Bog Cavern, which is in 3/8, the middle of the map there. Have to get through these sludge beasts here before reaching it. Quite a few of them actually. Could potentially have taken a different path here. They're obviously there to protect it. Yes, we'll enter. Rest. Get some light here. We have not been here before. I will start a new section. Dawn's Mist Cavern. Rubbish lines the walls. We're in X11 Y3, and it says a brightly glowing portal leads to Murray's Resort Isle. Take it. Not quite now, but it's good to know that it's there. I don't think we've been there before. The door said lounge. Oh, this door said playroom. Lounge and playroom for what though, remains the question. Oh, these are fun. These are certainly fun. Let's see if we can take them down using spells. No. Yeah, you could potentially do that. It's Right, in the sense that it's perhaps not very difficult, but it would take you a lot of time. Okay, so we know for a fact at least that this is a fairly difficult place. That was at least a fairly difficult battle. We accidentally took the portal there to another dungeon, so it's good to know that we can basically just travel directly there without having to go there. Go the same way as we did last time and try this battle again. We need to be better protected. We should have approached it differently. These all look potentially very difficult. This is a much different battle actually. It's just a bunch of hunchbacks. We will beat them down fairly easily. But the other one was potentially fun. Yeah, it's hugely random. Sometimes you just get extremely unlucky. That is just the way it is. Now, these are not easy at all. They are fairly well protected, so I will cast the power shield here because we are going to get hit. It's just a matter of how badly. Never going to be able to take down all of them. There are so many of them here. And they will get the chance to do some real damage, and if we hadn't cast a shield we would definitely be dead by now, but we survive. One thing that we're trying to do as well is we are trying to find Lord Peabody's assistant Sherman. It's part of the quest of gaining access to the time machine. We already talked to Queen Lamada and she told us to go visit Lord Peabody, so we're making some progress on that. Once we manage to gain access to the time machine, then we have the oh Jesus Christ, didn't see the elemental hydra there. Did some serious damage to us. We died pretty much instantly. Keep forgetting that the game does this. It hides the higher level monsters under the list of the other ones, so you don't notice them and then you end up dead. It's becoming fairly tempting to attempt to save our position and go back after we finish each battle here. If it's going to be this random, we might end up dead. Just a split second, so it might be better to just finish off one room at a time and then go back. There's a pyrohydro there, hiding down there. So I will cast the cast the protection on the elements here, and we need to revive magic at the spell because we really need the that level and the spell points so we can finish these off here. We survive. And at least got a decent amount of golden gems, which is good. Okay, it's very difficult. There's some barbarians and some gnomes. Things we've seen multiple times before. So now to play my own plan, I will run back here and save the game. Doesn't take us that long. This is has the potential to go on almost forever if you don't finish this off. Really annoying that there is no way to just run directly to town. You have to have this annoying fight with the lightning bugs here, but at least it doesn't take very long. Now, let's use the teleport spell. We want to go some 4 squares forward here. We can't use it in here, perhaps. No. Fine. As these dungeons become more difficult, that makes perfect sense. This one isn't as difficult as the other one was either. Basically the cursed slayers here that are annoying. We will beat them down and cure this cursed condition once we're out. a few gargoyles and the iron wizard. We will are lucky in the sense that the spellcasters get to go first, so we can take all of them down except for the hunchbacks. Okay, that part is done. We take one more room before going back to town. Employees only, target practice, the blue room. A couple of giant ogres here. This is a fairly large room, far larger than the other ones have been. Now, 200 of these greedy snitches here. I will take them. It will take forever for us to beat them down here. I'm assuming most of them will indeed run away, so probably won't take all that long. Just hope we don't get robbed. At least we didn't get robbed. Found a decent amount of gems as well. We found 103 gems per share. That's some 618 gems. That's a good find. Certainly worth the time we spent. Another one on the other side. This is potentially a way to harvest gems, and there are not many places in the game where that is actually possible. And we were running quite low for a while, but we recovered decently. Most of the spells that we are casting take up a lot of gems, and the amount of gems is also tied to the level of the caster, so we are using quite a few of them. However, we are casting maybe 1 or 2 spells per fight, because the spells are very powerful and they use up a lot of spell points, so it's probably similar as it was when we were doing far more rounds, the same thing. Now, we got nothing for beating those. Now, there's a throne room here. This is Dawn, and there are 2 enchantresses with her. That's interesting. So we are going to die here, right? Yeah. Okay. I could have just about told myself that this would happen, so go have these fights again, and before we hit Dawn, we'll go back and save our position and return. We were pushing our luck at this point in the game. It sort of makes sense that we would die. Now, I did notice this sign here, dodge mist bug, where monsters come to relax. Lots of these crypt fiends here. I assume they are undead, so we will use the holy word spell, get rid of them. I managed to kill off 2 cast members. We will raise them. Friar Tuck is slowly aging as we use the raise dead spell occasionally. We already found the fountain of youth in the game, and we can always go there and return everybody to 23. So I'm not too worried about that. Just a bunch of hunchbacks. It's a matter of finishing these here first and then battling the hunchbacks. Now, to do what we set out to do originally, let's just go back, save this. Sadly, there is no way to get out of here without fighting these bugs. We found a skeleton key plus 8. Let's see what we currently have. Don't think we're actively using one. Increases thievery by 10. So plus 8 is basically worth the same as a thief's pick, or give or take. We don't really need it though. We are already at 101%. And I'm actually just slowly waiting until we might at some point want to just remove the thief's pick and drop down to maybe 85 or 90% and earn some better armor instead. At some point our thievery percentage will be high enough that we don't really need the thief's pick on the thief. And we could then use the equipment slot for armor purposes instead. I already reduced his luck quite a bit. Doesn't need this much luck anymore since he's mostly just dependent on his skill. So it's very rare that we roll in such a way that we can't open the chest. But funnily enough, it does still happen, which I find somewhat amusing because we have basically our thievery percentage is basically 101%. So we should never be in a situation where we can't open the chest. Well, I would think not, but it still happens occasionally. Not often though. So this one was easy. A bedraggled cleric and a battered robber are being used as targets by a group of monsters. Intercede. Yes, of course we will. Oh, these are difficult. I will use the power shield here. We could potentially use the earth encasement, but no. Disintegration at least works with the I go down. The bloody cleric Holy Moly and his sidekick, the shifty Slick Pick, pass out before you. Target practice can be brutal, higher at the Hourglass Inn. Okay. We found 2 additional hirelings in the game. We should probably finish off these fights here before dawn, before we continue here. These were not particularly difficult. It is the battle with Dawn herself and her sorceress, which are. So let's make our way here and finish the battles with the greedy snitches here. We're not gonna have to do them again because they are not in the path to the door. To get to Dawn, you basically only have to fight these ogres, and they're very easy. So. No, they have not managed to hit us once during this entire battle. We got a decent price for the second batch now, which we didn't get previously, so that's great. Now, we mapped all of this. Let's head back to town and save our progress here and then return. This fight with these lightning bugs here. Sell some of this stuff here. It seems that it seems that we've been robbed of some food here, so I'm just going to buy enough food for everyone. It's not a good idea to run out of food in the middle of a fight. Now, question remains, how do we approach this fight with the Dawn and the Sorceress? We can do is we can cast the protection from elements, but we cannot cast the power shield spell until we are in power shield spell rather, until we are actually in battle. So has to be our turn to be able to do that. Let's go. Let's hope we get a little bit unlucky now. 3 dead. That is less than excellent. We did not survive that, so no, they don't seem to like us very much. I can't see why. We're very lovely people. It seems awfully rude of them to treat us this way. What we really need here is that we need a magic at the spell to have a turn before the Enchantress. That is potentially why, yes, we certainly are looting their dungeon. Now. How could we potentially now they got to go first. That's also a bad idea. Everybody is dead except for the Pink Panther. Oh, this is very difficult. To increase our speed? Oh, that's a good question. What we really need here is the luck of the draw and who gets to go first. It makes a huge amount of difference whether we can land some blows before they can. Because they cause so much damage. I'll try this maybe 2 more times and then I'm gonna give up for now. Don't think there is such a spell, and all of the really good spells they require us to be in combat. We can't cast anything like the holy bonus without being in combat. So let's try this 2 more times. And again, they get to go first, which is basically a death sentence for us. And try this 1 more time, and then I'll give up on this particular fight, and I will finish the rest of the dungeon and come back to this part once we've leveled up a little bit. Actually, I think the most difficult part in this game is usually that you aren't entirely sure in which order to do things. So you spend a decent amount of time just trying things out and figuring out if you're ready to do them or not. I assume that the reward for finishing this battle here is significant, so we'll try this once more. I don't think the protection from element spell does anything, and again we're unlucky and we're all dead except for Magicka. We could potentially go there with another sorcerer and maybe do this fight, but we'll leave it for now. We need a little bit more experience to be able to get through this. Go and finish off the rest of this dungeon down there, see if we find some more hints, and we might go over to Murray's Resort and finish off that cavern as well. I think that's actually an earlier cavern in the game that we haven't found yet that we should complete. I will let's see where that takes us, and there are obviously some secret levels there as well that we should probably take a look at. Must be some secret walls here within this place. There appears to be a decent amount of area that you can't access, so I find it very likely that there are some secret areas here as well. This is labeled a spa, and what a spa it is. Bunch of demons and some rats. Not my kind of spa. This was battle number 1200 in the game, so we've done some fighting. This is another Jim Morrison room, lots of doors. And some of these mounted patrols here. Which are not having a good time with our dancing sword spell. There was a mistake here. We found something called the Harsh Hammer. Gives us a might bonus of +3. Actually a decent weapon as well. We already have the Dark Trident, which actually gives us an armor class +5 and very useful here. And here we have the True Axe, which increases accuracy. So, and here we have what? The Acidic Sword, which gives us additional protection from acid. So these are all useful. The Harsh Hammer does sound pretty nice. Additional might is very welcome. And it's also wearable by the cleric. But probably not with a shield. Let's see here. No, can't work with a shield, and we need a shield. This is giving us +6 in accuracy. That's fairly important. It's perhaps only Sir Hiram that could potentially use this, and we would then have to give up this acidic sword instead. And we would have to give up the shield as well, which he sort of needs. So keep it around though, it's a valuable item, potentially useful. Now, there's one enchantress here and multiple grey workers. The enchantress is very, very, very difficult. And we got very unlucky this time around. And we didn't manage to even get another chance to get out of it. Let's try that one again. We should be able to take one of them, even if we can't take two of them. We should have a slightly better chance of taking two of them. One of them, I would say. These messages about the rubbish, they really slow down the mapping. We already checked all of these walls, so we can basically just run through here. 40 crazed natives. That's a great combination here. We'll cast a shield. It'll give us a slight chance of surviving this. I mean slight. We will survive, but with one surviving party member. Let us try that one again. And this is again a more manageable one, far more manageable. Now let's see whether this room here was just the luck of the draw or whether this is always the case here. No, there are no enchantresses here now. We just got extremely unlucky. Court bowmen are difficult, however, in this amount, certainly very difficult. They are more manageable than the others are. Let's see. I will cast a power shield here. I'll probably need it to get out of this. And there's still 8 of them left, and we have to work our magic to take them down. It might have, yes. This will do 38,000 experience points. Very difficult battle. And we received a lot of gold. Nothing here. Oh, we're done with this part of the map here. I think we will, given how this has turned out so far, run back to town and save. It's been fairly difficult, all of it, so I don't think it's wise to continue further without going back to save. Sell some of this stuff over here. And let's go again, finish this up. Ran too far. And these lightning bugs again, you'd think they'd be tired of us by now, but apparently not. Now, for the other part of the corridor here. Weight room. What did we find? A monster tome. What is that? No, it's the identify monster spell. Okay. What is this door? This is the cafeteria. So, there are some swamp beasts in the cafeteria, obviously. Let's see who's in the steam room. That would be the cloud dragon. That's in the steam room. You'll take him down fairly easily. We found an S chainmail +7. A potentially a valuable piece of armor if we can actually use it. We already have an S chainmail +7 on the archer. Let's see. 48, 35. Wrong alignment. Typical. How typical. What does the friar have? He has a split mail. +5. This is better than that. Although not a lot. Let's see if we can wear it anyway. $43 to $31 to $44. That's a hike of 1. 1 is a 1. I'll take it. And sell this one instead. Some hill giants here waiting for us. This place is absolutely crawling with all sorts of monsters. Found another scale mail, not as powerful, however. Lucky dogs, lots of them. I assume these are very difficult. Just based on the fact that it juggle, okay. Basically the ultimate. This is the ultimate juggler animal. Found a crossbow +9. See what does the robber have at this point? He has a +8. Perhaps we can use it. Let's see. A 1 is a 1. No, wrong alignment. We'll sell it. Turn on the lights here. The room is blanketed with a multitude of various lucky charms. Roll in them. Yes, why not? More luck to those who are worthy. Okay. Let's rest. Yes. A significant hike in luck here for everyone. And that's basically brought us quite a bit of additional luck. This combined with the with a little scale in one of the castles, which swaps luck for might actually be very useful, because potentially we could go here again and again and do this, and it would take quite a few trips, but we might be able to hike our might up considerably, although our might is not really our problem at the moment. However, there is now the issue of all this remaining space here on the sides, which we cannot access. I'm going to assume that we have no way of doing that until we finish the last battle there with the enchantress, but let's go back again and sell this loot and come back and finish, use the teleport and go to Murray's Resort. Might as well finish that now. I will keep onto this splint mail here. If we want to add the hireling cleric back to the party, we might potentially be interested in keeping it, although we are somewhat running out of space in the backpacks. We'll save here and go back, travel to Murray's Resort Island using the spell there, and then figure out once we finish that and go outside again where exactly we are on the map. Finish off these lightning bugs here for the what seems like the millionth time. Now the portal was here. We'll take it. Now we are in Murray's cave. This is a 1x1 square we've found ourselves in. Strewn across an ornate throne upon an ivory pedestal rests Murray, once among mightiest of warriors and now most wealthy of Wallingcron. This proud and powerful man has a troubled look on his brow. Help him. Of course we will help him. Murray's foul adversary, Dawn, the wench from hell, has corrupted his isle. Foul things happen at his resort instead of pleasurable. This condition must end. He dismisses you with a simple request: kill Dawn and return. Okay. We tried, Murray. We tried, but we'll try again later and then we'll return for our rewards. Where are we? Can we use the teleport spell in here? There is a... No, we cannot. Okay. No hirelings allowed. Okay. Fine. You can go home. It's locked. Santa. Not strong enough. Okay. We will have to return here at some later date when we then are strong enough. Murray, only a mystic clown and some stone golems. How fun. This might take a while. are largely immune to magic, so this might take a long time. And we really want to take down this clown here. So cast the power shield. So I have a feeling we're gonna be here for a while. These seem to be mostly immune to everything except disintegration. And perhaps something like a deadly swarm. Okay, 2 of them are gone. 4 remain. Now the question remains, what happens first? Do we run out of spell points or do we manage to actually kill them? One of them is left. Oh, we finally reached that point. Can't even cast a cold beam. Can't cast a lightning bolt. Cast an electric arrow. That's it. But he goes down. We get 60,000 experience points. That took a while. And we barely made it. That was very difficult. Question now is what is in here? Dare steal from me, impetuous fool, and suffer the consequences, love Murray. I assume that we should probably not be in here. I will we just barely survived this one, so I think we will leave this for a slightly later date. Nothing in here. Already been here, let's see. Already tried this door without much luck. Ascend to Murray's Resort Isle. Yes, I think that is a good idea. Where are we? We are in B4. Okay. This is an area that we have not mapped yet. But that we need to do at some point. X2, Y2. We will cast the town portal spell and go back to Zanzibar. And sell some of this stuff here. We found a mace plus 11. Potentially a useful weapon. Let's see. This is a clerical weapon as well. This is a much better weapon than this slumber club, which we will sell, and this plate mail as well here. Now, I want to take a quick peek at the training. We are very close with Sir Lancelot. Our tuck is ready, so is the Pink Panther. And we are very close to being able to level up some more. I will take a quick trip down to Middlegate and save there. Then I'm going to go outside here and we are going to do some night washing over here in D2. Ah yes, we need to fetch Sir Hiron again. We dismissed him earlier because we couldn't bring him along. I wonder where he is. He's probably in Zanzibar. We need him because without him we don't have two characters with the mountaineering skills, which we need. Our exchange, William Tyler with Sir Hiron. Then try a talk with the archer. This is the way we want it to be. Let's take the portal back here. Save again and go on this run to gain some experience. We'll make take one round of these knights here. These royal horsemen, beat them down here, gain some experience. This is basically our new grinding area. We used the barbarians before, but this gives slightly more experience and slightly better returns. We got unlucky this time around. We found some there are some nasty bastards here waiting for us. Let's see if we can get rid of some of them. the strangler is particularly not good now that most of the party is actually asleep. It's a terrible combination. See if we can oh, he died. It's unlikely to happen again. We will go on another one of these. Now there are quite a few of these here in this map in a fairly small area. So there are 3 groups over here. That's some 40,000 experience points. And right here on the other side there is here is one group. So that leaves us at 53,000. Here is one. At this point we're up to 66,000. Then in addition to that, I think there are none here, but there is one here, and I think there's one more. So after this one we're up to some 80,000. Yeah, there's at least one more. It's almost 100,000 per run. So that's a decent amount. Where are we now? And then we can basically take the road back to town. Having gained the about 100,000 experience and train up the rest here. So Lancelot trained for ready for level 24 now. He's level 23. So is Magic at the Spell. And so Roland needs 40,000 and Hiram needs 136 and William Tells needs 36,000. Well, it's only about 40,000, so that's 4 free barrels with these guys. We'll do 3 more and finish leveling those 2 up and then go back to town. Probably should have sold some of this loot here. There was quite a bit of it. That's okay. We'll do it when we get back to town. Let's sell some of this stuff here. Hiram probably has a full backpack of stuff here. Including a plate armor plus 7. Which we can't use. An accurate sword plus 6 here. Oh, interesting. Potentially we can use that here if we're lucky. Yes, we can. The accurate sword gives us quite a bit of added accuracy, certainly more than the exacto spear. And in addition to that, it does quite a bit more damage, so it's a far better weapon for the archer. So we found something valuable this time around. I think I will sell this Naginata plus 13 here. We are never going to use it. So that was a good find, and we made a bit of money as well. So that's good. Let's head. Let's head over to B4 and map that particular square. Sign into the inn here. As you may. We finished D4 and we finished C4, so B4 remains. Or whether we have not indeed finished C4, it's entirely possible that we have not done that either. We'll check that. Perhaps we have not. We might have taken just part of it. Yeah, we have not. So let's finish that off now. And rest here, recuperate. We are strong enough at this point to finish mapping this. I remember now that I was thinking of doing it earlier, but then we had these battles with these sitting monsters here, and I gave up on the idea. Because now we've leveled up considerably. There's the Ooze Warrior, an annoying little guy. There's the top level Acid Caster. This is a fight. Lots of these super sprites. Oh, they are so annoying. They steal the gems. Well, I made an attempt at least to run away from them, but unsuccessfully, I might add. You will have to watch the gem status. I would much like for them to just die here. Very tired of these. Haven't stole anything yet. Little bastards. William Tell is cursed, so he is not able to cast any magic. Let's remove that condition now before we rest. Here we go. Doing okay for gems. We have about 1,000 per person. And we fell down a sinkhole, ended up here in the middle of nowhere. Somewhat unfortunately. Now we have to do a lot of running to get back. Note the location of this sinkhole here. As soon as we get control again. So basically it's X14, Y10, Y11. It's X14, Y11. The tongue of fat toad lashes rapidly as it grows. That is interesting. Some of these lightning bugs here, I've seen now 0 of them. This area here obviously has some significance. I assume we will get a hint about this sinkhole again. Since we're here anyway, might as well go fetch some food and save. At least we get something back for fighting the swamp things. Same cannot be said for most of the other monsters in these squares. Decent amount of experience, but not really much in the way of X13Y5 is quicksand. William Tell died during the quicksand incidents, so not great. We'll raise him from the dead and arrest him a little bit. Try not to walk back into the quicksand. Oh, god damn it. Which we did. It's the first thing we did. Now we're in for a very tough battle here. The seductress is right there. I will cast a power shield spell. We managed to take her down, luckily for us. Should cast the power cure here. Rely on the dancing sword to take down the rest here. Now the robber is not with us. He got killed in the quicksand exercise. I will raise him now. At some point we will need to travel back to visit the Fountain of Youth. Some more quicksand, which is turning out to be quite difficult. I will head back to town here. I want to restore this. It's expensive to waste our years like this. It's not that expensive to restore. And then I want to save, and I want to try our luck with a rejuvenate spell, because it's only very much Ryotuck that needs this. He's 34 right now. That's the spell failed, so we will quit, go back in. It has a decent chance of failing, in which case it does exactly the reverse. It ages the characters. In most cases you do succeed, and we removed 5 years, which is enough. So continue. Have these necessary fights here on the way. It's hard to avoid them. You would have to spend a long time finding some sort of path which doesn't end with you crossing some of them, so I think that's mostly impossible. I will finish this one off as well here. And then we will go to the swamp dogs. We'll move one square up to the grass and rest. Seems that the lightning bugs never give us any treasure, which also makes sense. I've never killed a wasp and gotten some gold. Oh, we fell down a sinkhole again. We always end up in exactly the same place in the map. Since we were there anyway, I might as well go back to town and save the game. And then continue. Going is slow but steady. This is the sinkhole, okay. That's great. You have achieved absolutely nothing. I will have to go around it. It's x10, y10. Some more of these lightning bugs here. They seem to be everywhere. And as per usual, we get nothing for beating them. Let's be careful, actually careful not to run directly to the sinkhole here. Quicksand here. Someone is dead, x9, y8. We will raise them from the dead and rest, and then continue. More quicksand. x9, y4. And this time it's Sir Hyan that is dead. The spell failed. Okay, and an encounter with these swamp things. And more quicksand, this time in x9, y0. And it's again Sir Hyan that is dead. This game can be so punishing sometimes. You can't even turn on the square without dying. Have to go from the other way up here. And be careful of the quicksand that is right in front of us now. We'll Then there's another one at Y8, so we have to jump over that one as well. Undoubtedly there are more of these. Okay. And we end in the sinkhole again. Now use the opportunity to go to town. Sell some of this stuff and get some more food. And save. And potentially cast the rejuvenate spell again. We need to take some years off again. Yeah, it's enough. I will go back. Now. Ran into some dancing bones here and some of these deadly rattlers as well. So use the sandstorm on the rattlers. And I will use the holy word spell on the bones. Get rid of all of them at the same time. There are now 17 of these rattlers left here. Cure the poison, rest, search, treasure. Now, this is obviously one of the areas in the game where we are supposed to approach from this direction. Small pond looks inviting. Let's we'll take a quick snapshot of one of the characters here and see what it actually does. It changes all of our hit points to 150. Well, that's X9, Y14. It's actually not that great for us because it reduces pretty much everyone except particular spell which gets a single extra hit point. Would have been more useful earlier on in the game, perhaps. Another sinkhole. This is a very annoying element in this game. I know it's just trying to make it slightly more difficult, but I find these constant distractions which make it just harder to map fairly annoying. Now we need to be careful. So X7, Y7 is a sinkhole, and so is X7, Y4. It's also sinkhole, so we will jump over this square here and directly into an encounter with some swamp dogs and a sludge beast. And that leaves one square here, and then we have to jump over the next one to avoid the sinkhole. Fight these lightning bugs here. And eventually rest. Okay. We're more than halfway done, so that's at least a positive. Now another. This square is fairly uneventful. Nothing much happened here, but here is another of these sinkholes. I will go back to town. Since we're here anyway, and save. And then we'll continue again. At this point we must be fairly used to fighting these. We've done it like 20 times now. Always the same battles with the same results. This is the easiest way to get back in this. Go to the shore and try to avoid these. Now, this is some variation here. We have a sorceress on top, so she's difficult. We will cast the sandstorm here. We haven't rested for a bit now. The Grim Reaper there, also fairly difficult. Let's see. As the fingers of death. Yeah, you can, that is certainly true. You have access to spells on the outside that you do not on in the inside dungeons. So you lost 2 members of the party, which you'll have to raise now. Taking 2 years of the life of the cleric. We find a decent amount of items, so eventually all worth it. To be careful now not to step back into this sinkhole at the bottom there, the last one we stepped into. I'll map its location. There are plenty of these encounters here with these sludge beasts. And they're all over the place here. Now it's X5, Y1. This is a sinkhole, so we will jump over it. And again. And then go all the way back up here again for resting. And now there are only 5 of these squares left. These slashes are fairly annoying here. As I remember, they do a lot of damage. Our spells are strong, so plenty of experience in fighting the various acid-based monsters here in these mires. It's pretty much getting to be solid land again. A weird fight here. Plenty of these warbots. They appear pretty difficult. It would have helped to rest here, which we did not. These bots have a lot of hit points. We are running out of hit points, no spell points for the sorcerer. We're doing okay for spell points for the healers. This took a while, it was fairly difficult. Made more difficult by the fact that we hadn't rested for a while. Now 3 strips remain here. Another of these chance encounters here, some wizards, the archers. But lucky this time around. Can't call it luck. Could have easily perished now. Heal the heal at least the cleric and the lost 2 now, William Tell. Okay. It's okay, we'll deal with that. But to cast the power cure on Magic Dispel, see if we can bring her back. Really need to take down this archer. Doing a real number on us here. Back Sir Roland. The valiant knight is still here, still very difficult. So see what we can do about him. He has a lot of hit points, it seems. Use the disintegration on the wizard. 76,500 experience that we get here, and we need to raise 1 character from the dead. These are difficult battles that we're having here on the outside. Now we seem to have found the door to hell. Let's not open that quite yet. Leave that for now. Go back and save before we go to hell, literally. This is Brutal Bruno. He's the barbarian class quest. Need to beat him if we want to finish that quest. There's no particular need for us to do so because we don't have a barbarian on the crew at the moment that we use regularly, so bunch of these grey walkers, and this might look almost unbeatable, but it is not, because we have the Holy Word spell and we will simply just eradicate every single one of them using 1 spell. Gives us 18,600 experience points for doing almost nothing. Not every battle is as difficult as it looks. This one is slightly more difficult. These melting men are annoying here. One of the monsters that explode in the game cause quite a bit of damage. Also have a significant number of hit points. Annoyingly enough. Now we have enough definitely to use the Sunstone spell once again, and we have enough here to use the Dancing Sword spell again, so we are pretty much in good hands here. The dagger jaw is difficult, but not impossible. Now he's down, so there are 2 of the crossbowmen left. We'll simply finish them off here. Cure the poisoned condition here on magic the spell. Search for treasure, which of course explodes. And we finish C4 with some difficulty, it must be said. We will spend gems using the town portal. I want to go directly back to Zanzibar. I want to sell some of this loot here. Most of these are low value items, but there is this iron helm here. I'm going to take a quick look at. No, can't be equipped by good. Potentially can be equipped by no. Okay, it's for evil only. That isn't really useful to us. We'll sell it. And I'll take a quick gander at the training here. So Roland is ready. So is Sir Hiron and William Tell. Now a lot of the party is at level 23. Everyone is actually at level 23 now. That's actually very good. So, might sometimes seem that we're not making much progress, but that is false. We are making progress, it's just taking a lot of time. Now, the only thing that remains in over in C3 is the door to hell. So let's go visit the door to hell. What happened here? Why do we only have 56 outputs? Did we accidentally sell some item that no. No, just need to rest. Weird. Oh, I forgot about this sinkhole here. This game has this very annoying habit of doing this to you. Forgot that you need to go to the shore to escape safely through this area there. I won't forget again, I think. You can sort of see exactly where it is. It's at the top of this here. This is just an encounter with the occasional cat here. Seems there's one super cat at the top, the cat from hell. And quite a few of her disciples below. Ouch, that hurt. Now one must wonder how many hits this cat can take. Apparently quite a few. Jesus Christ. We perish. I think it's a wise idea to cast a shield there. See if we can try to take down this cat by using the shield. We in any case need quite a few hit points to take her down. A considerable amount of hit points that she had. We had already dealt her quite a few blows without seemingly taking her down. I will also, in addition to the power shield, I will also cast the identify monster spell so we know what we're dealing with here. Let's see. What is it that we're dealing with here? 2,000 hit points. Okay. That's a decent amount. Try to get everyone back on their feet here without much luck. So she has 2,000 hit points. That does rather seem like a lot. Yeah, we're obviously got very much unlucky now for the in the second run. We had much more success in the first one. We will try again. Yes. Yes. We got very unlucky again. But this time around we can at least cast a power shield. And we have the thief and we have the cleric, so we can cast the healing spell on William Tell. Lost 3 party members, no less. And we got William Tell again. And we can cast a few of these now. And potentially we could also raise some of these dead party members. We get lucky. I would say that I picked the wrong one. I should have picked I should definitely have picked Sir Roland because we could have used him to heal. That was a mistake. Question remains, how many hit points does this cat have at this point in time? She still has 1861, so we've moved her down 140 hit points. So this is actually quite achingly and correctly described as the door to hell. We are not going to be able to finish this at this point in the game. We are going to need quite a bit more power to be able to do this. Oh, it's now day 124. One thing I want to do now is I want to go yes, he's definitely a bad pussycat. If it was my cat, I would have her declawed. I think that would be correct punishment. I want to check now whether the circus is here. It's been quite a while since we checked that. No, it's not here. Okay. We need to figure out when the circus is in town. You need to visit it. Let's save again and head back outside. We still have E3 to go. Let's see. We did B3, it was A3 that we hadn't done. Or was it A4 that we hadn't done? It's A4 that we haven't done. We are pretty much done. Slowly we are getting done with all of these areas here, so we will eventually finish all of them and then be done with the outside in the game, which is certainly quite a big part. Now let's start with the ocean area here. That little blip there is the is Murray's Resort Island, which we visited earlier. Not a lot going on here right now. Thankful for every strip that we don't have to constantly fight ourselves out of. Now we can bathe in these hot springs. I need to take a quick snapshot here. Guess only see the travel agent, okay. Somewhere there is a way to then buy a ticket to visit this island, and we were able to do this mud bath, however, without doing anything. Seems to have done very little to any... I can't see any changes at all. Mosaic tiles of frolicking dolphins decorate Marie's resort spa. A wrap down also available here, and that seems to have done. Okay, that increased our personality up to 75. Let's try this mud bath here again, see if it seemingly does anything. Can't see any enhancement. It's possible that it only affects one character in the party. I can't see it. Can't see any change. Yeah. This definitely did, this massage therapy. That increased our increased our personality temporarily to 75, which is a decently good share. Ran into some giants playing volleyball. I guess they didn't want to play volleyball with us, so we will have to take them down here. Here's a juice bar. I will take a quick snapshot here. Again, and figure out what this juice bar does. Now we're all poisoned. Nice juice. And it doesn't seem to have done anything else for us, so this is a trick by the game. But it could be worse. It's very rare in the game that you really sustain any real damage from any of these. They're usually fairly tame. Now we can work out here. What does that do for us? Increases our might. Temporarily, probably. Yeah, increases our might slightly up to 26. Marble swimming pool, jump in. There's an asset in the pool. It's similar to the to another pool that is in another part of the game. So this is the cave here. We've already been in here, but we haven't completed it yet. It's fairly difficult. This is in the one of the last areas in the game, really. Now this is the fortress of the good wizard Jacob. We've been there before. The Isle of the Ancients, when we completed the Sorcerer's class quest. After all the endless sinkholes and issues that we had during some of the mapping previously, this is a welcome change. There is very little going on here. Bunch of crazed natives here, but not a troublesome amount of them. The hyperactive fighting style of the crazed natives has influenced your clerics to concoct a frenzy spell. Okay. And so we've now gained a frenzy spell, level 5-3 spell, and the cleric is slowly gaining all of the spells. We are only about 5 or 6 spells that the cleric has not learned so far. And they're making good progress in this mapping here. Some more of these crazed natives. I'm hoping that the natives here are holding Sherman hostage, because that's one of the ongoing missions, to find him, return him to Lord Peabody. Now here are some of these Amazon women. They are tough as nails. We have a dancing sword, so that's something. Wait till Peabody hears about this. Sherman, while crafty, Nagasawa bows and thanks. Thanks for saving us from these crazy natives. If you want, look for us at the Carriage Inn. Okay, so now we found Sherman. That's a lot of progress. We'll finish mapping this area here. It shouldn't take very long. It's surprisingly free of endless tidal waves and many of the problems that we encountered on some of the other ocean areas previously. I was getting fairly tired of this last night when we kept getting swept away again and again and again and again. Now we seem to have found some gems. That's certainly welcome. That means that we have a way of harvesting gems by running in and out of the map. 1201, 1211, there are 10 gems that a decent amount. That's one new way of harvesting gems that we haven't seen before. Plenty of these crazed natives here. They seem to be indigenous to this island here. Mineral fountain. Let's take a snapshot here, see what it does first. For drinking from it. Yes, I will drink. This one increases our might to 93. Which is a fair bit. Okay. This is the last 4 square. And the only one that we have not mapped. So I'm now going to map it. Because I want to get it over and done with. This is Atlantium, the town. Let's go in here and sign the register. Where are we in town? We are there. The inn is here. We've never actually been to the outside of the town while doing anything, so a pool of blood like liquid oozes out of a crevice. Yes, of course we will drink. Instant death. That is potentially useful in some other part of the game. It's entirely possible that at some later stages this will not kill us. If we're strong enough, it might give us some ability that we don't have. So I will mark this square down here. 13 by 13. Now, we'll walk back down here. Go from down to up. These are endless battles with these knights here, which serve little purpose. They're also on the X12Y7. A magical fountain purples at your feet. Do you drink the water? Let's see. Take a snapshot first. See what it does. Now we're all cursed. Did we gain anything else? No, it did in fact not. So we'll not take that lying down. We'll simply restore and map that one square that we had done again. No. Yes. Is off. No. These barrels are also on the square above, the A3 square, which I mapped last night. One of them was a barrel which freed 2 hirelings. But other than that, it's basically just a barrel with these white knights, seemingly without any huge reward. They give you a little bit of experience, and but otherwise mostly tame. Hit a tidal wave now. Rest after this barrel here to recuperate a little bit. And we will continue downwards. Affixed to a table in the center of an empty garrison, an old rotted scroll tells how to cast a spell, water transmutation. Okay. Now gained water transmutation, which is this spell here, and that probably means that the water encasement spell is also here somewhere close. These are the water elementals. We will try our luck here. These are difficult, they're very difficult, and without protection from the elements they are near impossible. Now we will have to tackle this again. We'll not remember this location here. Run and do this mapping again. We stand no chance against these elementals without having the protection from the element spell active. This shouldn't take very long. This is the fight that we had with the knight, so we will rest here and search. Then I will cast the protection from the element spell after resting again. The workman water spell, we have about 43 protection from the elements, which basically reduces their power of attacking us considerably. And here are 2 of them. Let's see how we do this time around. Probably slightly better, yes. They're still very difficult. Try to cure Friar Tuck here. We lost Sir Hiron. One of them goes down. We will raise magic at the spell. The other one goes down as well. So we survive. We have 2 dead members to raise them up. These elemental beasts are quite difficult. We've had a few fights with the earth elementals previously, and they were certainly difficult. Want to take a look at this home here. We already have a similar home, solid. I will save our progress here. Attempt to cast a rejuvenate spell on Friar Tuck. Since it failed, we will restart. Try to shave some years from his life. How old are we now? We're 33. It's okay. And we'll go back outside and try attempt to finish this off here. You'll notice that the squares down there at the bottom, they look different, and that is because this is the part of the map that is really the elemental plane of water. Here is a tidal wave. And 2 of these. And we managed to run away. We need to rest. If we're going to take them on, we need to rest. And we need to cast the Work on Water spell again, as well as the Protection from Element spell. And here they are again. Let's see where we get. Highly possible that we get nowhere. Let's see. We cast a Power Cure spell on Sir Roland and hoping that he gets a chance as well, and we can cast it then on William Tell. Use him to cast the some spells as well. Disintegration spell seems to be actually mostly effective against these. Try our best to keep our hit points up so we don't die here during this battle. We're barely able to take down 2 of them, but we survive. And I will cast a Protection from Element spell anyway here, so if we run into more of them, we can then at least have the spell. Yeah, we are getting a lot of very valuable items here. This did not turn out well at all. We'll tend to run away from this here. Let us visit the temple here and have ourselves fixed up. Rest first. We weren't lazy, we would go back to the first town to save ourselves a lot of money, but we are lazy, so... We got a skeleton key +9, a cutlass +10, and a small shield +10. None of these items sort of particular use to us. The skeleton key is mostly for the robber, which is already pretty well endowed. So they are valuable, however. Now, protection from the elements. Walk on water. Let us see about these little shits here again. This integration seems to actually be fairly effective on these. It seems to work a lot of the time. So it's actually a fairly good spell. It also uses very few spell points, which is a plus. It doesn't work every time, however. We survive. Oh, this was a cold blade plus 12. That's a fairly interesting weapon. Yeah, we can use it. I think we'll keep this one. What do you think are the chances that we run into some more of these here? Not in this square. There are now 4 squares left. 3 actually. 3 of these strips remain. Two more of these. That's one dead. But it's the thief, so could potentially be worse. Could be a lot worse actually. It goes down, and we survive. The thief dead. I'll raise the thief from the dead here. Some more of them. Let's save before continuing. Let's take a look at these items here. Acidic sword plus 6 that we already found. That we took from the archer. Let's save our progress here. Go back outside and try this again. We will need the protection from the elements as well as the walk on water spell. And on we go again. And the second to last square. Now we already did this fight here previously, so I'm just gonna skip it. We'll not have any of these twice. Plenty enough to have them once. It's funny how you can be so lucky and unlucky with this. I've now managed 2 turns of us, and I really have not done a lot of damage. Sometimes very much is the luck of the draw. By adventuring in the watery abyss, an understanding with liquid has been achieved. The spell Water Encasement can now be cast by those with proper ability. So we've now found both the Water Encasement and Water Transmutation spells by walking these plains. And we still have the other battle here. I won't have it again. I will teleport out of it. And I will cast the Walk on Water spell, and I will also cast the Protection from Element spell to prepare us. There's 1 square left, and let's assume that there is at least one of these here still. Okay, this is the entrance to the elemental plane of water. We won't go there quite yet. But it's at x0, y0. Okay, so now we've at least finished all of the 4 squares. So that's all of them, and all of the. We haven't completed all of the 2 squares. Still, I think E2 still remains. But we are getting there slowly but surely. Let's go to Middlegate now and see about leveling. Not terribly far away from leveling up to 24 actually after all of these fights. We've had pretty good luck here. We found a great hammer plus 14. Actually a great clerical weapon, however you can't use it with a shield. Oh, we'll trade it down to the cleric, but it's difficult to use since you can't use it with the shield. The moment we need the shield more than we need the weapon on the cleric. Now, let's see. This is C2, we've already done C2, and we've done D2. We have, however, not done E2. So now it's tempting to try that one again. I will cast a Protection from Element spell, and we will try our hand here. This was, last I attempted it, it was pretty much impossible. I kept getting into battles that I just had absolutely no chance of ever winning. This is an example of one of them. And yes, we are still ways away from being ready for E2. However, the pool is there, so the pool that we need to visit for the circus is there, so we need to be able to make our path to it at some point. Let's see. The circus is still not here. Let's just go to check if it was. No. Every square of the 2 area of the map has been completed. Except for E2, that still remains. Now I'm going to check for the I think we've done most of the 3s as well. We've done at least B3 here. We've done A3. As well as C3, we've completed C3. And we've completed D3. However, E3 remains on map, so it's basically E3 and E2. Potentially we can finish E3 now, let's see. Try it anyway. Looks slightly more harmless. Here is yellow message number 8. I believe we've almost found every one of them at this point. I'll write it down. We have 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We're missing 1. Only 1 remains. Here is 8 again. Already read it. These earthquakes are slowly killing us here. Aren't really doing a ton of damage. Oh, that was a sandstorm. Those are in some areas. This one is in X2, Y10. Not go there again. Small oasis, you find 40 food. That is useful. X2, Y10. X2, Y11 is the Sunstorm. X2, Y10 is the Oasis. Now, it's an encounter. There are 4 of these Valiant Knights here and 4 of these Endless Knights. That sounds very nice. Sounds like a Hollywood movie from the 80s, actually. Have to wonder how endless they are. Let's assume that they're at least very powerful. I will try to see if I can raise the cleric, which we managed to do, but lost quite a few others along the way, including the sorcerer. Not ready for that battle, at least. Perhaps these squares are not for us. Let's try once more, though. It would be good to try to finish marking these areas here. I got lost. This is the sandstorm. If you know about that. This is the battle again. This one is not as difficult. You have these archers still. Perhaps we're not ready for this yet. These third time's a charm, but these places appear to be very difficult as well. Similar to E3, there are very many of these very difficult battles there. So we'll leave E3 and E2, and we completed E4 already. And what then remains are the many squares in the one area of the map. We have done all of the 2 squares except for E2, so what now remains are the 1 squares. We still have E1 to go, as well as A1. And I believe we have not done D1 either. No, we have not. Which probably also means that E1 is not finished either. No, it is not. However, it contains one of the towns, so... it contains volcanium, so on the other side here of the map are town of Tundra. I believe we now mapped the all of the squares, or at least visited all of the squares which belong to the towns. Let's enter into Tundra here, and we will continue mapping tomorrow, starting here. We need to finish mapping the one areas, of which I assume E1 will be the most difficult, the town of Volcania, because it's surrounded by these volcanic activities. So there are these squares where we take a lot of damage while browsing. But I think it's time to pack it in for the night. Thank you very much for staying here all this time and watching this stream. I will tomorrow will probably be the last or second to last at least mapping stream. I will try to finish up the mapping. It's fairly boring, and once we're done with all of the mapping, we should be able to move on. And I hope to see you then. And it is just you and me here, so I won't bother with the raid right now. I will just pack in the stream. I'll switch to the extra and have a nice night. Have a good sleep. Later.